Hey there, aspiring guitarists. I want to talk about a new guitar I got over the weekend at Guitar Center. And I was aware of the guitar, and it was a video from Philip McKnight and the Know Your Gear podcast that got me to go back when I was taking a guitar to Guitar Center I wanted to trade in and look at this guitar. I pulled up Guitar Center online, went to my local store inventory, saw they had it, and I thought, well, I've had a PRS 24, SECE 24 before, and I did love it, but it was heavy. And I traded it in on something else that I got from Guitar Center months ago. So I was like, why would I turn around and buy another PRS, even though I did love the way it played? But Philip McKnight made his video and said, I tried out PRS's cheapest guitar. And it sold me. And when I went to the store to play it, that sold me as well. So I bought the PRS SE CE 24 standard satin metallic silver, and here it is right here. But mine only weighs 6 pounds 11 ounces. I don't know if you can see the scale. I weighed it right there. It's 6 pounds 11 ounces. The other one I had was over 8 pounds, and I know to a lot of people that doesn't matter. I've got videos about weights and things, but it matters to me. That's just a clean sound out of my Fender Mustang 100 watt. I'm going to encourage you to go to the Philip McKnight video to listen to him play it, because he goes through all the different switches, and that the tone has a coil split, and it really is nice that I can turn this dual humbucker pickup guitar and get a single coil sound. But for me, it's about the way it plays. It just And I'm not trying to sit here. I mean, I'll let you hear a tiny bit. Anyway, that's not my point. My point is to talk about why I bought this guitar. It's got a satin finish. I love a satin finish. I love these, nitro finishes and all the, poly finishes and the beautiful, like a lot of these behind me on the wall. That's wonderful. It adds to the enjoyment and the pleasure of looking and having a guitar that is pleasingly aesthetic. But the reason I hated getting rid of that PRS that I had. It had a flame top. But guys, like I've said, and gals, like I've said many times, if I'm not playing the guitar, I'm moving it. I'm going to move it towards somebody else or toward another guitar, or even if I give it away. That's a whole nother story. I've got videos on why I do this. This is a workhorse guitar. It plays tremendously. I love the neck. It's weird. I love a Gibson scale, and I love a Fender scale, a 24 3/4 Gibson, and I love the 25 and a half Fender scale, or whatever you want to call it. This PRS is simply a 25-inch scale. It's got a 1.68 nut width which I really like. I see that on a lot of guitars. I like the neck. The neck feels good. Believe it or not, this is a mahogany body, which kind of shocked me that it only weighed 6 pounds, 11 ounces. There's a 10-inch radius on the neck. I mean, it's just loaded with features, but it plays good. So I'm starting to get more and more buying guitars, not always the way my wife buys a car. My wife's number one attribute when she buys a new car is how cold the air conditioner can get. And trust me, it's like riding around a little igloo. Well, that's probably a bad riding around on top of an igloo outside, because you could hang beef in her cars. Now, then she's going to look at how comfortable the seat is. The last one she bought had, it blew cold air on the seat, and I mean, she just went nuts about that. Then she's going to weigh out how my wife is short. She's 5 foot on tiptoes. And then she's going to weigh out how well she reaches the pedals. And then she's going to look at a few other things. And the last thing she's going to look at is the way it looks. Now, she still wants it to look good. She's particular about her colors and things like that. But notice everything else I said was about functionality. And that's getting to be what means a lot to me about a guitar. And my number one is how well it plays. Now, if it plays great and sounds like crap, and remember, that's different between acoustics and electrics. I didn't grow up with pedals. The only pedal that I had in the 70s, in the bands, folk groups, gospel groups, regular bands that I was in, I had a wah-wah pedal. That was it. I was still an acoustic guy back then. I had an Ibanez Black Beauty, and I actually had the serial number of the one that was in the Gibson Ibanez lawsuit. It was a beautiful guitar. Played great. I remember the lush case with the yellow carpeting or whatever, shag, or the fluffy thing. It was a great guitar. And I see, it looked like a Gibson Les Paul almost exactly. It was a great guitar. But my point is not to spin off into that. My point is, I had an amp. I had a Fender. I always confuse them. I had the Fender amp that had 4 10-inch speakers in it, and oh god, it would blow you. It was so loud, and so I learned to get my tone from the guitar and the amp, and that's not if you get your tone. Some people create incredible tones. Good for you. That's not me. I enjoy playing the guitar. When I play with other people, I may, hey, give me a little more bass. Okay, I'll do that. But if they think I'm going to sit there like a band in a studio about to cut something in recording and go through hundreds of pedal sounds, and now you've got, I played this on this Fender Mustang 100, and God, you can just easily turn the knob, and without even going into the app, get all kind of different tones, a little name right there too. That's cool for me, because I'm not knocking digital amps. I have some. I've seen people go in, dial in the kind of amp they want to use, the sound they want to get, and then they can assign it to button or dial presets, and that's great. I'm just too old for that. And I'm sure there's old people that have, like me or older. Me, I'm 2 days older than dirt. Um, but this is a workhorse for me. The guitars that you see left up here, and I told you there's going to be a day where I get it down to between 5 and 10 guitars from over 140. I'm getting there now. And then I'm going to write a book. I'll call it 5 guitars, 10 guitars, 5 to 10 guitars, maybe. But at any rate, the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot to be said about functionality. I've been playing guitar a long time. I've cut an album with a gospel group as the lead guitarist. I can't do that anymore because of my hand condition. I can't even play a long time anymore, but I still love to play. But I don't want it to be any more painful than it has to be. When I started out with my Dupuytren contracture, I could barely make a C chord. And it took me almost 2 years to get to where my hands would spread to where I could get back to playing. So I'm grateful. I've had it taken away from me. Functionality, it's... I know you may think that's simple-minded to even go there with the one thing my wife wants about a car, but hey, she's the one driving it. If she wants it to be ice cold and icicles, that's her business. It's her car. It's your guitar. It's your performance. Whether that's in the bedroom, whether it's out on a gig, whether it's a church, whether it's a professional band or recording studio, it's your guitar. I once heard, I don't know how true this is, I once heard that Hank Williams said that when he recorded, he used a Martin. When he played at a bar, he used a Gibson, because the Gibson could take a beer can being thrown at the guitar. I don't know how true that is. Apologies to Hank Williams and to the two manufacturers. As I said, I heard. I absolutely know no validity or truth to that. But there's something to be said about what you're doing with your guitar. Now, I love this PRS now. It is so light. And I'll tell you something little I like about it. Now, I love the coil split too. That is so nice to get another sound without having to do a ton of work to get it. I realize you can take that any way you want to take. Let me show you something that's simple, but I like it. This is a Diadiero tuner, but it's not one of those that you squeeze and pinch to put on the headstock. It's one you set there. Now, it can easily be removed quickly. You just push right there. But I like the fact that when I pick it up, the tuner's there, and it doesn't cover up PRS because PRS is in the middle. Unlike many guitars that have them where you would clip the tuner. And I've actually seen a clipped-on tuner mar the headstock finish on some guitars. And it may do it to this. I don't have a clue. But I like that it's out of the way. It's not covering up the logo or going to hurt that. I know that's a simple thing. But there's little things that mean different things to us as we play a guitar. And I enjoy my guitars. And of course, one of the little things I like to share with people, this is a SECE 24. And the 24 lets you know about the frets. But let me get close. You got a 24 when you go from the bird inlays to the owl. So I've told that to people and they go, well, I didn't know that. And then they go run, look at their guitar, and they go, oh, there is an owl. Cool. So anyway, just a few things. Let me turn this amp off. I had a lot of fun watching that video from Know Your Gear, Philip McKnight. I'm going to put a link to that in the description. It's a great video. He does, He's such a down to earth guy. I have no relation with Philip McKnight. I am a Patreon member because I get some of his. It's a way I support his channel, and I get some of his videos exclusively as a Patreon uh, member, and he has done a wonderful job for me, helping me to set up, fix, and maintain my own guitars. He really does deep dives and shows you things and articulates ways to do things that can save us money and things like that. So I think the world of him. And I encourage you, if you got time, a lot of times I'll listen to what he's doing a deep dive on, because his videos can go over 20 minutes sometimes, and I like it, especially if I'm considering buying a guitar. I want to see what he finds out. Does he see problems? He really gave this some high praises. Now, he's realistic. He knows you're not going to get some of the fancier stuff, but he also praises the guitar. I think you would enjoy that. Hey, it's all about the guitar journey, and it's your guitar journey, and I hope it's a blessed one. And most of all, like I always end, and I do mean it, happy picking.